Mpumalanga Premier Refilwe Mtshweni-Tsipane is this morning hosting a breakfast session for several beneficiaries of the Premier's Youth Development Fund. The session is part of the provincial activities to mark Youth Month. For more on this, let's now speak to our reporter Tumelo Machogo. Tumelo, good morning and thank you so much for making time for us. So first of all, tell us more about what the Premier's Youth Fund is and which industries she's targeting.
Well, indeed, Aldrin, this Premier Development Fund, Youth Development Fund, rather, was established in 2001 to actually just to curb the unemployment rate in the province, because you remember that youth unemployment rate in the province is such a big problem and also is a national problem where the youth are actually unemployed in the country. So the Premier established this Premier's Youth Development Fund to actually help young people with their businesses to ensure that they have funding and also they're being supported with funding. They have helped so far about 97 businesses, almost 100 businesses, and they have already helped them with at the tune of 140 million rand. So far this year, they're also going to be helping more people. But let's speak more with the Premier about the initiative and why the initiative was established. Premier, thank you so much for speaking to us. Just talk to us about why did you guys establish this fund?
Thank you for having me. This Premier's Youth Development Fund was established in 2021. We have conceptualized it as one of our most important pillars insofar as the economic mainstreaming is concerned. As you know, you've correctly stated that the youth unemployment rate is a bit high. With the exacerbation of COVID-19, it made things worse. We've seen some of the companies closing down. We've seen some of the people losing their jobs. And as a result of that, as Mpumalanga province, we were not spared off. Now, we had to come up with, in line with our Mpumalanga economic recovery plan, come up with a plan to say what is it that we can do, given the fact that most of our population is predominantly youth. And therefore, we needed to come up with something that will assist us in accelerating the economic mainstream among the young people. And therefore, we then conceptualized the Premier's Youth Fund. And we must say, up to thus far, we're doing extremely work. Even the beneficiaries, they are very happy and they are equally doing very well. We have seen them, we are monitoring them. We're not only assisting them in terms of giving them what they need, and we must put it on record. We're not giving them money. All that we do, we look at the proposal, the concept. The concept must be informed by how many jobs are you going to create, its sustainability and the viability. It's quite critical components that we are looking at, and how lucrative that business would be within the community. Would you be able to access markets such that you are able to sustain the business yourself? Therefore, if indeed we are satisfied with the concept that you've presented before us, we then allocate you the money that will assist you in establishing the business. Now, money is not coming in a form of rents and cents, but we look at what is it that is needed. We then go and procure all the necessary assets for you to start your business. And then we then arrange through the MEGA for financial assistance and business assistance, so that as you kickstart, you have we have rounded off the most critical aspect of making sure that your business thrive. And therefore, today we are here having a roundtable with all the beneficiaries that are recipients, just to assess how are they doing, what challenges are they meeting as they do their business, what is it possibly, if necessary, just to leverage and make sure that they thrive in their businesses. We really appreciate it, and our focus would not only be on just ordinary young people. We have dedicated about 30% of the allocation of fund to the disabled youth, and therefore we visited various municipalities within the rural areas, particularly rural municipalities, so that we want them to participate in this in turning around the economy of their areas. And therefore, to us, this is quite critical and very important, and we're very delighted to have it being established.
Premier, I know in the beginning when the fund was established, you guys used about 140 million rand to actually help these young businesses. Yes. I know so far you guys already have had a new intake of the new young people that have already been in. What is the criteria that have been used to actually to get these people, and how much money now have you guys set aside to help these businesses, and also what kind of businesses are you guys targeting exactly?
Okay. Well, there are different sectors, as you know. Some of them are in manufacturing, some of them are in mining sector, some of them they are in various retail sectors, and some of them they do quite various business activities within their communities that might be quite lucrative. Some of them they are in a tourism space, some of them are in the agricultural space. So therefore we are not prescriptive as to what is it that you need to do. What will then determine you earning the funding from us? We look at how viable the business is, how sustainable the business would be, and does it have the possibility of creating job opportunities for others? Would it be a sustainable business that would be viable for future endeavors as well? Because from here, we are kickstarting you, but you should be able to pay your salaries, to leverage on your income in terms of your living conditions, but also you must be able to save so that you can expand on the business that you've already started. So basically, those would be the main determinants of the criteria that we are using. They will then send the proposals. There comes a time where we're asking for proposals. Those proposals will then be assessed to look at the most viable in line with the economic mainstream within the province. So as I'm speaking right now, we've seen quite good proposals. We've funded very good proposals. We are here in Secunda, just down here in Volkrust. There is a tire manufacturing company that is owned by young people. It's doing exceptional work. Well, it has overtaken the big players in the market. So people are supporting them a lot. That company, it has a potential of hiring close to 30 people within the local area of Volkrust. That's one of our rural municipalities. And we've seen another project in the manufacturing space, in the mining space, where we have bought the screenings, the coal screening. And as I'm speaking, those guys, they have now procured the second coal screening for themselves, starting from the money that they have made after they have received funding from us. So that gives you a sense what kind of businesses these children are embarking on, and how well are they doing insofar as that is concerned. And what is critical is the youth also gets an opportunity to be employed within those companies.
If you would say how many people have been hired with these businesses, because obviously they're hiring more people, they're also hiring people, you guys have helped so far 97 young businesses. So how many people do you think so far have been hired by these companies? And also because now it's elevating unemployment, and are we seeing now the numbers going down in the province in terms of unemployment, especially among the youth?
Well, I wouldn't say for sure. Obviously, we'll have to consolidate the figures because they will vary from 10, some are 20, some are 30. But I can say that almost all of them, they've added numbers in terms of youth employment is concerned. And of course, it has had a positive impact, a great impact insofar as trying to curb the unemployment and the poverty rate within our communities. But obviously, the figures of youth unemployment, they're still high. From where I'm seated, there's a lot that we still need to do. As you have correctly stated earlier on, to say that we have allocated money in this current financial year. We've allocated close to about 40 million rand, which we will be dispensing very shortly to new emerging companies that shall have been identified through proper processes. They will then establish their companies and make sure that they kickstart and they have an opportunity as well to create more and more job opportunities. And over and above this, there are other initiatives that we are embarking on to make sure that we encourage young people to create job opportunities. Just now in the agricultural space, we've had what do we call this, the co-op that is owned by 6 young girls and boys in Marapiane. So they did exceptionally well. We were there to launch the project. They've already employed about 140 plus minus 140 young people in that space. Therefore, if we were to condense that in line with job massification program that we are embarking on, we will be launching quite a number of projects this year that are youth and women, disabled people based, so that we create opportunities for them and we equally create jobs for the entire population within the province.
Premier, somebody sitting somewhere in Nkomazi and want to know how do they actually apply for this Premier's Youth Development Fund? Where do they go, and then are their applications still open, and how much money are you going to set aside for this financial year that is coming up, so that these people that are sitting in rural Nkomazi, sitting somewhere in Gersibande, they can also apply for this fund?
Certainly, as I have indicated earlier on, the closing date for now, as you recall, that during the SOPA, the State of the Province address, I had to pronounce the date because of the closing date was on the very same day when I was tabling the SOPA. But then we gave them an extension of about 2 weeks. That has since closed. But over and above that, as I've indicated, that we do have predominantly rural-based municipalities. We had a concerted effort. We had a drive to go around those municipalities to teach the young people what does it entail, what is it that is expected of them, how do they prepare proposal, so that they also participate, they too participate in the process. And we are very much delighted. None of the municipalities within our province is left out in terms of beneficiation insofar as the Premier's Youth Development Fund is concerned. So therefore, to us it's critical that we don't touch those municipalities that are only economically viable, but also of importance is that the rural-based municipalities, the children around those areas, they too become the participants and are beneficiaries. We've just opened a gymnasium that is owned by 2 young women in Bushbuckridge. They are doing exceptionally well, and just now, probably in the next coming 2 weeks, I will be opening yet another 2 million investment, 4 million investment in Bushbuckridge, in a far-flung rural areas of our provinces. Therefore, everybody has a right, is eligible to participate in this proposal. As things stands now, for this current financial year, we've already closed, and the money has already been allocated to a tune of about 40 million that will be dispersed.
Premier, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you very much.
That was Premier Refilwe Mtshweni-Tsipane speaking to us about the Premier's Youth Development Fund here in Mpumalanga. They will have like a networking session with also some of the beneficiaries, actually just to share ideas about how they became successful, but also sharing ideas in terms of, the one that is having like a poultry farmer can, work with the one that has like a logistics company, so that they can help each other and also become sustainable and make sure that they grow themselves themselves, but also creating jobs for the other youth.